Good early morning, everybody. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's doing well. And I'm sure you can see that my camera is pulsing. It wasn't doing that until I decided to record. But this is just another evidentiary video to show that there are some assaults to my camera right now. There's some energy around it. But anyway, I want to alert you to a video that I posted 8 months ago. I'll play a little bit of it, and then I'll post a link in the description section. It's entitled, How They Infiltrate Target's Life, Mind Control Secret Illegal Amoral Black Op Project. Now, the reason it's coming to my attention is because I've been examining some of my past videos, and I saw that a lot of them were not monetized. I couldn't understand why. So I asked YouTube to review them again, and so far 8 of the ones that I marked for them to review came back as monetized. So I think it was during a time when I had that disgusting cyber stalker harassing me and tagging and downvoting all of my videos, which is still happening, by the way. A lot of my videos are still being downvoted. But I'll play a little bit of this for you because, I mean, it's already in my content here. It's 10 minutes long, and then I'll post the link. But before I do, please remember to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. I want to read something else to you that a subscriber gave to me. Thank you, Deb. Minneapolis is rolling out a safety ambassador program. A call for groups to do the bidding of police officers, right? Safety ambassadors. Oh, is that like a gang stalker neighbor? A safety ambassador for groups to do the work. Yeah, it's called plausible deniability. Minneapolis says a new response to the public safety will hit the streets by next spring. Who will do the work in this pilot program is still being determined, and the city is calling for community groups and organizations to apply to become the first quote-unquote community safety ambassadors. Oh, they've got to give them a special name too. Ambassadors, as if they're diplomats or something. Those groups have until December 19th to share their proposals. These ambassadors will be hospitality providers and safety providers. Yeah, making the neighborhood safe. We know how that works. Taking the violence interrupters that people are familiar with and the downtown improvement district, which people are familiar with, and kind of merging them together. You know, like fusing them together, like fusion centers. Harrington said about the vision for the ambassadors. Just another little grant funding program. In the news release, the city writes that it's looking for qualified, nonprofit, neighborhood, faith-based, or cultural organizations to manage teams of street-based safety ambassadors who will patrol their designated areas 5 days per week. That's what safety ambassadors are. They're a violence prevention tool, but they're also another response option instead of the police. Oh, so, you know, the police, they can just go after all the targeted people instead, and then they'll have the little safety ambassador gang stalkers for plausible deniability. Oh, well, guess what? The Minneapolis City Council has already approved $3 million to start it. $3 million. And I suddenly have a low battery flashing. Let me just plug in my little USB here to get some more battery. Yes, $3 million for another gang stalking program. Oh, but let's call them ambassadors to appeal to their egos. You know how the FBI said that we're going to have these little gang stalking programs, give them those fake badges because, ha ha ha, it appeals to their egos and we can get them to work for us. Well, anyway, speaking of the police, here's a good one for you guys. Here's a good one for the animal lovers out there, okay? Sheriff's deputy faces felony animal cruelty for fatally stomping on his girlfriend's cat. I mean, this is a little psychopath, right? And guess where this is? This is Pasco County Sheriff's Office. Now, this is going back to 2022, but believe it or not, this is still going on in the courts. So let me show you the adorable cat that this psychopath stomped on this cat in retaliation against his girlfriend. This is Tampa, Florida. Let me show you this adorable cat. Okay, it looks like it's got a little heart nose, right? Here you go. We fight as one. Pasco Sheriff. We just stomp on cats. Oh, we know how they do that here in Jackson County, Kentucky. Yeah, we know. We know how they poison them, run over them, shoot them with energy weapons, throw nanotechnology in the cat's building. Yeah, we know how that works here. So the Tampa, Florida sheriff is facing felony animal cruelty charge for killing his girlfriend's cat, Axel. The Tampa Police Department identifies Eric Harris as the man who stomped his former girlfriend's 3-year-old cat to death in late August. According to authorities, Harris attacked the cat August 21 after getting into an argument with his girlfriend of 6 months. The woman left the apartment and returned the next day, finding her 2 cats cowering in crates. After the heated argument, Harris's girlfriend left the apartment, but when she returned around 7 p.m. the next night, she found both cats hiding in their crate, and when she tried to take out her 3-year-old cat, Axel, she found him with a broken and bleeding toenails, which usually means that cat fought against this psychopath. The report by the police claimed that Axel was acting weird and unable to walk. It's sort of like women who go after their attackers and all their fingernails are broken, but that's what you got to do, women. You've got to leave your evidence in the psychopath. Axel was rushed to the Sarasota veterinarian after his owner discovered broken, bloody toenails and witnessed his inability to stand. Detectives questioned Harris, but he denied any wrongdoing, claiming that Axel was just fine when he was with him. The necropsy report on August 26th, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement revealed how much damage had been inflicted on Axel's small body. He suffered severe hemorrhaging and bruising to his internal organs, facial injuries, including a missing tooth. Markings found on his body indicated that he had been stomped. The cause of death was ruled as blunt force trauma. Please add your name to the petition. I'll leave the petition there. Add your names to the petition. His excuse for the brutal attack was anger because the cat got on the furniture and counters, and that anger was taken out on the cat in the worst way possible. A grown friggin' copper viciously stomped a small, fragile cat to death. The update, December 18, 2024, almost 2 years later. The next deposition for Eric Lee Harris is January 22nd, 2025. In the courtroom 14, anybody going to be in Tampa, Florida? Go on over. 8:30 a.m., courtroom 14, in person, 401 North Jefferson Street, Tampa, Florida. The officer, the judicial officer is Robin F. Fuson. Isn't that nice? Anyway, Yeah, they can't control their anger, so they gotta take it out on a little kitty cat. Yeah, well, you know what, women, don't get involved with a copper, because they all seem to have anger issues, repressed anger issues. I mean, look at that sheriff right here in Kentucky that unalived the judge. And everybody, and he's claiming, oh, he was hitting on my teenage daughter. Really? So far, the daughter hasn't said a damn word about it, and I actually think that is a ruse, because we can't interview the judge, can we? We can't interview the judge. He's gone. So anything that the sheriff says, everybody's gonna revel up around the sheriff, because the sheriff can do no wrong in the lives of corrupt rural communities. It's okay to unalive a judge, though, and that judge actually ruled against some of those deputies for doing sexual things with some of the inmates, but let's not talk about that. Okay, so here's the video. How they infiltrate a target's life. Mind control secret. Illegal, amoral, black op project.
It's the year 2024 that I'm aware of. I might have been targeted possibly longer, but I am making these videos to inform everybody of the information that I know from the life that I have lived from being a targeted individual. And I would like everybody first to know that, in my opinion, the Targeted Individual Program is an NSA program. The NSA is ran by the top heads of our military, the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, and the Marines. So they are above everyone. And this program that we are put in is, actually all the agencies and the government are in on this program. You got the DOD, DHS, FBI, Homeland Security, and the CIA are all involved in this program. And what happens here is the NSA is working with what is called the Geospace Intelligence Agency. Geospace is satellite weapon systems. They retrieve encrypted data, and then they run our data through automatic AI systems, and the automatic AI systems are screening everybody for keywords, such as the word bomb or anything to do with terrorism or drug smuggling or anything in that aspect.
Now, I want to add something to that they're screening individuals' words. Now, I know some targeted people that have been targeted longer than me. And as I've mentioned before, like 12 years ago, I didn't know what the FBI did. I didn't watch TV. I certainly probably never even said the word bomb. I was in graduate school, taking my daughter back and forth to university, learning Reiki, starting programs in the community, being a drug and alcohol chairperson there. I mean, it's not something that was ever in my vocabulary. So what this whistleblower is saying, that the NSA and they scan the things that you say. Now, the only thing I can think of, and this is probably for you as well, is that, let's say we're watching news. It could be something that we click on a laptop. It might not even be something we're interested in. You know how we get text messages out of the blue? Or what if we're in contact with somebody who is involved in these things? I mean, I know for certain, when I was dating and meeting people for the first time, I didn't know who the hell they were, right? You learn about people. You meet people in work. Just because you're talking to somebody doesn't mean that you have a relationship with somebody who's involved in bombs and weapons and all these key words and stuff. So this is I understand what he's saying, and that may apply now, but I don't think that this really applies to a lot of the targeted people, some of which have been targeted for 20 years. Leave a comment down below if you feel that key words were used to target you, that the NSA was scanning, I guess, things that you view or talk about, and that you're tagged for a list. I can't even imagine. It wasn't even anything remotely on my mind 12 years ago.
So once this the AI system selects you as a target, then what happens, the NSA gets your data, and they initially first send your data to the FBI, because now you are of interest to the government. You have been selected at that point. The FBI initially runs a covert investigation on targeted individuals first, which means they have large groups of people. I mean, these are covert ops that actually infiltrate the targeted individual's life in every way, and they collect the data. So first off, they do an investigation side. So the FBI, after they do the investigation side, they decide what program that they're going to use the targeted individual in. Whether, if they can use the targeted individual for a training, research, and development program, then they will put that individual in that program and use them if they can. If they cannot use the targeted individual or indict the targeted individual for some kind of crime, what they will do is they will place them in an isolation and removal program. Now, these are secretly being run programs. These are black ops programs that society does not even know exists out there.
Did you hear that? Excuse me. Black op programs that society does not even know exists out there. Yes. And this is why we can't get this to stop. But we need to document everything that happens to us, photograph everything, because what happens to us physically doesn't happen naturally. It's not organic. So I appreciate this person's testimony here, but it's a little confusing to me. I mean, I hear about the chain of command that he's saying, that once you get on the radar, then you're totally infiltrated. The FBI totally infiltrates you and stuff. And then they set up these different programs for you. And I know Brian too, former DOD guy, he said that they do it for training, research, and development.
There are illegal, immoral, and non-consensual programs that are designed to strip a targeted individual of every right they have as a citizen. At this point, they are really deemed enemy of the state, and all the rights that a targeted as a human being has in the United States of America, all their rights are really stripped of them at that point. So, okay, so I want to explain to you guys exactly how this program really works and how the different multi-departments actually coincide with one another to target an individual's life in every aspect. Okay, the FBI does the investigation. The FBI also has what is called a fusion center in every state inside of the United States. So the way this works is the FBI fusion center is called the fusion center simply because what they do at that office is they take your data, your case file, and they fuse that information down through your state authorities, and then your state authorities fuse your data, your information, your case file down to your local police and sheriff's department in the county that you live in that state. Now, there's so much involved here. I have lots to inform you of. And this is all what I have learned from living this way as a targeted individual. Once they fuse your data down through the state, down to your county, and your local law enforcement, normally in the area, they have community watch groups already set up in that area. So now Also, I need to add that there are community-based agents. Now, these are contracted CIA agents that are located in all communities inside of the United States. So, the combination between the community-based agent and your local police department working with your community neighborhood watch groups, they create slander campaigns in the area that the targeted individual lives. Now, these slander campaigns are created by any means necessary. They literally slander the targeted individual's name in every way. They create lies and they smear your name in an effort to get the community to watch you, to police you, to stalk you, to harass you. And all these people in your area think that they are doing a good deed because you have been smeared. You have been labeled enemy of the state and a criminal, a drug activity, drug addict. It could be so many reasons, so many ways they slander your name. But this is how they get the community to stalk you in your neighborhood. It's virtually, it's slander. It's all created. Now, so this is well designed. This comes from the top heads, and it's so well structurally designed that the program funnels itself all the way from the top heads of the government all the way down to the street thugs that are following you as you drive down the street. That is how well structurally designed this program is. Everybody is doing their part, and each agency has a different part to play in a targeted individual's targeting. The CIA plays a major part in targeting targeted individuals. And I also want to say, before I go on any further, that our government has a long history of using people as experimentation guinea pigs to better advance security and cyber communications. This is nothing new. This has been going on for at least 60 years that I am aware of right now. And in today's world, they are still using, everybody as guinea pigs, pretty much. Now, the CIA, they play the biggest role, in my opinion, in targeting targeted individuals. The CIA, they are like in charge of your community slander. These community-based agents that work with your neighborhood watch groups and police really are contracted CIA agents. They have what is called a CIA chaos program that I was able to research and track back as far as the early 1960s, where it was designed. And this is a chaos program. And it was ran on selected citizens back in the early 60s and is still being ran on targeted individuals today. This is a scripted chaos scenario situation, which means the CIA uses people in your community to create constant chaos in the targeted individual's life by any means necessary. Now, they're doing this to targeted individuals for many different reasons. One is the constant chaos and stress that they keep the targeted individual is known to take years off of a person's life. Stress is the number one killer in the world, and this is a military design program, and they know that constant chaos and stress over a long period of time will break the targeted individual, whether it be mentally, emotionally, all factors involved here. Another reason why they use the constant chaos in a targeted individual's life is because it raises the bio levels. The fact that the targeted individual is under constant chaos and stress for the duration of their lives, it does ultimately raise their bio levels, such as their blood pressure. And so that contributes to heart disease, and it also allows the Geospace Intelligence Agency and their satellite weapons surveillance system to get better readings off of a human being's bio levels, because now their blood pressure is up and their heart rate is up, for example. And these satellite weapon systems are linked together through people's DNA, your DNA, your brain fingerprint. Also, the CIA is using the chaos program because they are, and have been for many years now, have the capability to read the human being's thoughts. And what they are really doing here is they are uploading the targeted individual's thoughts into an AI system, an automatic digital avatar of the targeted individual. So by them using chaos and creating fear and trauma and stress in the targeted individual's life, now that creates responses in the targeted individual.
Okay, that's where that ends. So, let me come back here. Now, I looked up that chaos, Project Chaos, and let me just find it here. But I hope everybody's doing well. So you see, these fusion centers, the fusion centers are involved in sending these criminals, and that's what they are. They call them community-based agents, to spread the slander campaign. Imagine waking up in the morning, going to work, and knowing that it's your job to spread rumors and lies about an innocent person because they decided to fuse all of your personal information together, right? They fused your information together. And now I'm not locating it. Oh, here it is. 1 second. There are historical programs related to modern day surveillance. One was the Operation Chaos and one was COINTELPRO. They established patterns to continue to influence surveillance today. And the expanded tools then, like back in the day, relied on physical informants, infiltration, and wiretapping. And now the agencies use powerful technologies like the internet, monitoring, artificial intelligence, and mass data collection to surveil individuals and groups. And Edward Snowden mentioned this in 2013 through NSA's PRISM program. They intercept your emails, your chats, and other communications from tech companies without a warrant. And then there is a lack of transparency. The programs are secretive until exposed by whistleblowers or investigative journalists. The modern programs like the NSA's bulk data collection, they all operate in secrecy with limited accountability despite any reforms. And the Patriot Act enabled warrantless surveillance, only partially rolled back after public backlash. And most of the public is clueless about even what the Patriot Act is. So there's something else here. Okay. I asked AI, why was Operation Chaos created? Operation Chaos was established during the Cold War in response to concerns about foreign influence on domestic dissent movements, particularly anti-Vietnam War protests and civil rights activism. That's really bad. Civil rights activism? Okay. The CIA's mandate prohibited domestic operations, but chaos was justified internally under the premise of investigating possible links between U.S. protest groups and foreign governments, especially communist nations like Soviet Union and China. Of course, we're always blaming somebody else. It was created under the orders from President Lyndon B. Johnson and expanded under Richard Nixon. The CIA believed that some of the social upheavals in the 60s might have been influenced or funded by foreign actors. But what a crock of BS that is, which poses a potential national security threat. Yeah, it's amazing how they can make this stuff up, right? So who was targeted by Operation Chaos? Although the program was ostensibly designed to track foreign influence, it largely targeted American citizens and domestic groups. Right? So that's what it is. This is going back a long time that they've been targeting the American people. So back then they were the anti-war activists. Is that a reason to target somebody? Well, we don't like war. Let's target them. Civil rights organizations such as the Black Panther Party. Leftist and cultural movements like Students for a Democratic Party and others associated with the New Left. Journalists, academics, and other individuals suspected of having ties to these movements. The operation collected detailed files on thousands of individuals and groups, many of whom had no verifiable foreign connections. Zero. Spying tactics included infiltration of organizations, surveillance, and compiling quote-unquote watch lists of activists. How was it exposed and ended, I asked. Like, what a stupid question that was, huh? Operation Chaos was exposed in the 70s following a series of investigative reports by journalists and whistleblowers. The key developments included the New York Times investigations in 1974 revealed the existence of domestic surveillance programs conducted by the CIA. Then, of course, there are the Church Committee hearings 75-76 in the U.S. Senate brought to light the extensive abuses by intelligence agencies, including chaos. Then, Freedom of Information Act FOIA requests of the 1970s and later decades uncovered more details. The revelations caused public outrage as the CIA violated its charter by conducting domestic operations. Operation Chaos was formally terminated. Cough, cough. It was terminated. Allegedly terminated. It says formally. AI says formally, but I'm saying it was allegedly terminated in 1974, and reforms were introduced, such as Executive Order 11905, which reinforced prohibitions against domestic spying intelligence agencies. Did you hear that? Executive Order 11905 reinforced prohibitions against domestic spying by intelligence agencies. Preventing similar programs requires a combination of public vigilance, transparency, and robust oversight mechanisms. Well, you know, I discussed this in one of my last videos about the fusion centers and who they report to. Their oversight mechanisms are that they are oversighted by the police. You know, like the ones that stomp cats to get even with their girlfriends. Yeah. Or how about the ones that, like, trample a 78-year-old woman's house with a SWAT team? It was the wrong house, wrong woman. They did it anyway. She got a nice big multi-million-dollar settlement, though. How can such progress be prevented or ended? You got to strengthen the oversight, whistleblower protections, public awareness and advocacy, and legislative safeguards. Strengthen laws that explicitly prohibit domestic spying by agencies like the CIA. How about strengthening laws that explicitly prohibit domestic spying by your friggin' neighbors? Limit data collection powers of government entities without judicial oversight. Or how about the creepers on my property that are right here, right now, on my property? As soon as I get into bed, it doesn't matter what time. It could be 1 o'clock in the morning. It could be 4 o'clock in the morning. As soon as I get into bed and pull the covers over my head, my roosters go berserko outside. Because the creeper is creeping around, harassing everybody. So then there are technological countermeasures to promote the use of encryption and privacy-focused technologies to protect individuals and organizations from unwarranted surveillance. And now I just listened to Patrick Humphrey. He gave a report that 65% of these particular modems are going to be outlawed because allegedly they were manufactured in that other country beginning with the letter C, and that they may have put some spyware in those modems, so that those modems, 65% of these modems are going to be outlawed, which means that if you've got one, you're going to have to get rid of it and get a new one. So anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. So we reviewed today Operation Chaos by the CIA that they claim ended in 1974, but it never did end. They just call it something else, like Targeted Individuals Program. Yeah, the domestic spying on people. And then, of course, there's the Pasco Sheriff's Department. Sheriff's deputy faces felony animal cruelty for fatally stomping this adorable little kitty to death. Yeah, imagine. And then, of course, Minneapolis, Minnesota is rolling out a new program. Yeah, the new program. Safety Ambassador. So now we can call your loser neighbors, instead of confidential human sources, you know, giving them that little cute little name, confidential human sources, and instead of paid informants, instead of rat snitches, now we're going to be calling them safety ambassadors. They're going to do some group work in the neighborhood. Okay, I'm still going to call them rat snitches, and maybe you should too. We can call them all these little cute little pretty names as a guise for neighborhood stalking groups, neighborhood vigilantes, community harassment, community stalking, psychopaths. They're personality disordered. They go along to get along, and they think they're doing good. Oh, because it appeals to their sorry-ass egos. Let's call them an informant. Let's call them a community watch group. Let's call them a safety ambassador. I'll continue to call them rat snitches, psychopaths, addicts, and that's what they are. They're obsessive and compulsive, which is what an addiction is. Anybody who watches somebody else for fun, for profit, to get their little nuts off, their little balls off, their little rocks off, we are paraphilia for these losers. And the fact that it's military involved, God bless America. And we pay for that. Your tax dollars. Black Op projects. Spread the word. Get the message out there. This is Lorraine signing off for now.